Tonight at 6, after an investigation at Dyess Air Force Base, a change of command made to better reflect the Air Force. The best gift you can give your child this Christmas is a book. The second annual San Angelo Reads Day, a great success. And just when the warm temps made their way back this week, West Texas weather said, not so fast ahead of the weekend. Tavian will tell us all about it coming up. Fox West Texas Live at 6 starts now. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tim O'Brien. The Abilene Police Department has arrested a man for the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl in Weatherford. Now, police believe there may be more victims. It all started last week when Weatherford police officers took the report from the 15-year-old girl. Then the parents said they found out that the man had been in their daughter's bedroom. Well, the teen told the police she met a man on social media and exchanged personal information. It was discovered that he had been with the teen in her home on 3 different occasions. Well, the girl knew the man by the first name Diego and that he said he was an armed service member stationed in the Abilene area. It's 22-year-old Diego Cortez, who was arrested on Wednesday. Detectives say his offenses go back as far as 2020. Now, if anyone believes they are a victim of Cortez, they are asked to report it to authorities. Dyess Air Force officials saying that there is an airman named Diego Cortez stationed at Dyess. Base officials are aware of the arrest and are cooperating with authorities. That's not all the news out of Dyess today, as 2 leaders assigned to Dyess Air Force Base have been relieved of their duties during an investigation into leadership. Well, according to a statement from base officials, Major April Widman was relieved of her command on the 317th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, and Chief Master Sergeant Peter Toscone was removed as a 317th AMXS Senior Enlisted Leader. I don't have many details on the nature of the investigation, but officials said the investigation was started to ensure accountable leadership and to uphold the Air Force's standards. Major Charles Scholes has assumed the command of the 317th AMXS. And San Angelo police are asking the public to be wary. They've received reports of a person contacting a family via phone telling them they have been selected for the Blue Santa program. Now, San Angelo Police Department saying they will not contact anyone by phone or inform of the selection. Now, the process is directly handled by the San Angelo Independent School District counselors. The families selected will be notified by letter from the police department in the coming weeks. And the San Angelo ISD hosting its 2nd annual San Angelo Reads Day. Our Esmeralda Perez has more.
San Angelo ISD is hosting their annual San Angelo Reads, a day dedicated to promote literacy.
They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing, 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 sing.
A familiar face took part in reading Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas over at Fort Concho Elementary. San Angelo ISD is promoting reading district-wide. Today, many schools use different themes and activities to encourage reading.
Since this is our 2nd year organizing this to where it's a citywide event, it brings more awareness to it. So for a principal or a school, it gives us more focus as a community for the importance of reading and getting outreach to families that maybe don't have access to books and letting them know where those books are.
San Angelo Reads began with the initiative to motivate children to read.
It's just our day to focus on how we are reading across the community, reading to kids, with the kids, even adults, and just really focusing on the importance of literacy. So it's a year-long program that we have going, but today is San Angelo Reads Day specifically for us to highlight it and really bring it to everyone's attention.
So this year we wanted to go bigger and better, and so it's a part of our Feeding Student Success initiative. And so we purchased books for all the 3rd graders at San Angelo ISD, so they would all receive a brand new book, along with a bookmark and a coupon for a free Whataburger Jr. to celebrate this great day.
Principal of Fort Concho Elementary, Lori Barton, has a special message for parents this holiday season.
Parents, if you can give your child one gift this season, please give them books and the gift of reading, because that'll take them further in life than any other gift you can give them.
Esmeralda Perez, Fox West Texas.
Now, the Concho Valley Paws will finally be open for pet adoptions after a sudden illness spread through the shelter weeks ago, leaving 3 dogs dead. While the SAPD is still investigating the cause of the widespread illness, shelter workers are excited to give their furry friends a new home for the holidays. Paws Executive Director Jenny Wilson does want potential adopters to be sure that they want an animal in long term, and adopted animals won't land back in the shelter.
And this year it's just a little bit more special because we have the dogs have completed their treatment, and it's even more crucial to get them into homes before Christmas. If you're not ready to adopt but you want to open your home for a pet for the holidays, fostering is a fantastic option because you get to meet that pet, get to know that pet, but you've not made a lifetime commitment. So it's a great way for anybody that's kind of on the fence about adoption.
Their annual Home for the Holidays free cat and dog adoption will take place this weekend from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's on Saturday, December 11th, 3134 North U.S. Highway 67. For more information, you get it on our site at foxwtx.com. Now, Jussie Smollett had his day in court and has been found guilty in 5 of the 6 charges against him, the jury reaching a verdict after 9 hours of deliberation. The jury declared that he was guilty of lying to the Chicago Police Department for filing a report after he orchestrated a fake attack on himself. During the trial, 2 brothers testified, saying they were extras on the set of Empire, and Smollett recruited them to stage the attack on surveillance camera. Now, the disorderly conduct charge is a Class 4 felony that carries a prison sentence up to 3 years. Experts say he'll likely be placed on probation or be ordered to perform community service. Back here in Texas now, the Dallas PD sharing this photo a few days ago. One of their canines posing with over $100,000 cash sniffed out inside a checked bag at Love Field. The money belonging to the woman was never charged with a crime. That has a lot of people talking on social media now. And Matt Howerton shows us one of the state's top Republicans, too.
Love Field. A check bag, a canine, and over $100,000 in cash. Add them up, and you got a conversation Dallas PD probably wasn't expecting.
We have many cases where they cannot prove that you did anything wrong with that money, but they take it.
State Representative Matt Schaefer is talking about civil asset forfeiture. It's what allowed this picture to even happen. The money belonged to a 25-year-old woman from Chicago who had a layover last week. Her bag had nothing but the cash, some bubble wrap, and blankets inside. It's suspicious, but not enough to charge her with anything. Still, under Texas law, police can seize the money if they think it will eventually be involved in a crime. It happens all the time in the state, even in situations like this where no crime is actually happening. And it can involve property of all kinds, like guns or cars. To get it back, you have to hire an attorney and go to court.
A person does not even have to be charged with a crime in order for law enforcement to seize their property.
By the way, cities can use seized cash to help with their budgets. Schaefer actually tried to pass civil asset forfeiture reform this previous legislative session, but it never made it to Governor Abbott. He wanted to make the burden of proof to seize property much more challenging.
And if they're going to take somebody's property away, they have to prove their case by clear and convincing evidence.
Speaker of the Texas House, Dade Phelan, even tweeted about this case, saying Schaefer should saddle up and try to pass reform again. Special detectives did do an investigation before taking the money, but DPD won't say what that entailed. $100,000 in a suitcase sure sounds fishy, but Schaefer says more hurdles should be in place before police can just walk away with it. In Dallas, I'm Matt Howerton.
Now, the loss of power at the beginning of the year was something that none of us will forget anytime soon. Besides causing loss of life and a huge amount of damage, it caused problems for oil and gas facilities. The Permian Basin now preparing for whatever comes next this winter. Todd Staples, the Texas Oil and Gas Association president, says that when the area's prime moneymaker is energy, you do what it takes to keep production going.
In Texas, winterization usually for the winter period usually begins in October. Companies start going out to their facilities. As we said, there are hundreds of thousands of sites in the state, and they start wrapping pipes that are exposed. They will make certain that their methanol injection units are properly connected.
One thing operations in the Permian Basin will be doing differently this year is making sure that the personnel are certainly ready. Staples saying over the state will be more prepared this winter season. Meteorologist Tavian Whitehurst in studio now. Tavian, you can't even explain there was no heat.
Nope.
There was below freezing temperatures. There were 6 inches of snow on the ground out here, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Everything combined, plus the water issue that they had here in San Angelo. It was just a nightmare. It wasn't just here. It was the whole state. Really, the whole portion of this country just saw an absolute weird freeze that hopefully doesn't happen again.
Absolutely. From the outside perspective, I was still in Ohio at the time. I had no clue what was going on down here in Texas. I knew it was bad. I didn't realize quite how bad it was till I started talking to people around town and finding out their own experiences. Absolute insanity.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before, just not even not being prepared. There's no need for it. So there's not the sand or salt trucks. There's no plows. They were bringing them in from other areas. Just there's no need for that here. So it's not even, like I mentioned, a matter of being prepared or not. And then we can get into the whole thing about the grid and winterization. It's a huge, huge deal that can't happen again.
Exactly. Now, everybody as individuals and as a community needs that help.
Yeah, for sure. Good news is we're still sniffing around 80s here in December.
We are. We actually broke records today. It's hot and it's going to stay out for a while. We had record temperatures, 83 degrees, both in San Angelo and Abilene, breaking the record of 80 degrees beforehand. They seem to really like to be on the same page on December 9th. Now, tomorrow we have a possibility of breaking records again. San Angelo, I'm forecasting for 84, Abilene for 82. You see, those records are only 1 to 2 degrees off. So, you know, it's just kind of up to chance and what we're going to see. Giving you a look at the sky cam, you see the sunset is happening, still pretty, the lights are shining, temperatures are cooling down, most places in the 70s, but a few already dropping down into the 60s. Lows tonight are going to be in the 50s for tonight, but the big thing I want to warn you guys about, there is going to be a fire watch that'll be happening tomorrow, and in Tom Green County in particular, there is going to be a burn ban starting at 7 a.m. So definitely do not be, you know, creating any fires, anything like that, to keep yourself and keep the community as a whole safe. Now, with all these record highs you've been having and the extreme lows, all these crazy temperatures, they may be driving you crazy, but they're not necessarily making you sick. Drastic changes in temperatures, or yo-yo weather, or roller coaster weather, as we like to call it here, it doesn't make you sick, but it can make you feel sick. The back and forth puts your body under stress, which in turn impacts your immune system, usually causing headaches, runny noses, watery eyes, or drowsiness. I know when I was younger, I used to get nosebleeds in the springtime. And despite what is commonly thought, cold weather does not actually make you sick, but not taking care of yourself in the frigid months can.
So important to stay warm, stay hydrated. If you're going outdoors in cold weather, definitely you want to dress in layers, wear your gloves, wear a hat, wear your mittens, you know, those sorts of things to keep you warm. Proper shoes as well is very important, especially if it's snowing. Those sorts of things, along with keeping your hands washed and clean, getting your vaccine, getting plenty of rest, and getting a good, well-balanced diet are all the things that we can do to keep us healthy, especially during the cold winter holidays.
Now, doctors also recommend avoiding drastic changes in temperatures by keeping your thermostat at lower settings, such as 68 degrees, and even avoiding too much time spent outdoors when it dips below freezing. Tim?
All right, thanks, Tavia. Now, President Biden meeting with his COVID response team at the White House as the strain spreads rather quickly. It's now in at least 22 states. Researchers say that it's the most contagious variant we've seen so far, and at this rate, it could become more dominant than Delta in a matter of weeks. But so far, almost all cases have been mild. The White House is stressing vaccines and boosters that are effective. This is the Food and Drug Administration has now given the green light for its booster shots to be given to people as young as age 16. Well, up until now, only those over 18 were eligible for the additional dose of the vaccine. This coming just a day after Pfizer announced that its internal research showed a third dose is highly effective against the Omicron variant. Doctors also continue to urge people to get their vaccines and boosters sooner rather than later, citing data that shows the vaccine's effectiveness does decrease over time. COVID-19 has separated families across the world for long periods of time.
My wife, she will swim over there if we can't board the plane. That's how badly she wants to see her children and grandchildren.
One Texas man fighting through red tape just to see his new grandchild.